right field, and this game is over. National sweep. Swinging a long shot to left field. That one is going back, and it's gone. A 3-run walk-off homer for Wilson Ramos.
That is why you fight until the last out. Unbelievable.
Who will take their turn as the hero tonight on MASN?
Washington Nationals baseball. Washington Nationals baseball.
Well, after last night's unbelievable finish to the ball game, the walk-off homer by Wilson Ramos, those fans coming in from the Metro don't want to miss tonight's ball game, and those young fans said, hey, if they did it last night, they may do it again tonight. Welcome, everybody. Nationals baseball. I'm Johnny Holiday in for Bob Carpenter with the guy who called Wilson Ramos' 3-run shot last night before he hit it, F.P. Santangelo.
Nats win tonight. I'm pouring Gatorade on you.
How about these two 23-year-old guys? How about Danny Espinosa and Wilson Ramos? Ramos the hero last night. Last week, Espinosa the hero.
I mean, 23, 24 years old. Dan Espinosa just turned 24, and this is big boy stuff. You talk about the future for the Washington Nationals. These guys are coming through with clutch hits. The guys that play in the 10 years in the big leagues never do. So when you talk about the future right now, Danny Espinosa got a big hit last night, setting the stage for Wilson Ramos. Don't forget Roger Bernardino's great at bat. Another young guy coming through, and Wilson Ramos right there. You talk about guys growing up right in front of our eyes. These are guys that we're going to get to watch play for a long time in Washington, and they're going to give us a lot more thrills than they did last night. Unbelievable stuff.
That ball was hit to your private table out there in the red porch area last night, incidentally. John Lannon gets the start tonight for the Nationals. At home, he has been almost unbeatable. 1.84 earned run average.
Yeah, he's been awesome at home, and he's been great about his last 6 starts. So for John Lannon, the confidence is growing. The stuff has been great. The tempo has been great. And I think, Johnny, ever since he beat the Philadelphia Phillies, he got the monkey off his back. He's walking around with a little different swagger.
And once that sinker starts going, look out for John Lannon. Great to have you with us tonight. We'll be back and check the starting lineups in the first pitch, Game 2 of 3 against the Seattle Mariners. Brought to you by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And by Bad Teacher in theaters June 24th. Johnny Holiday in for Bob Carpenter tonight. Bob will be back with you on Friday in Chicago, and Seattle's here for the second of 3. Mariners don't get many opportunities to come back east, and boy, what a tough one last night if you're a Mariner fan. Our train game time temperature outside, 89 degrees here at Nationals Park. Visit Trane.com for an independent train comfort specialist dealer near you. It's hard to stop a train. Hard to stop Wilson Ramos last night, these young Nationals, huh, FP?
Yeah, they're not going to give up. They fought all night long, and Johnny, it went from one of the worst games of the year to the best game of the year in about 10 minutes. It was awesome.
And we'll take a look at the Seattle starting lineup tonight. Ichiro steps in to lead off. He'll be in right field. Hitting from the left side, Brendan Ryan, the shortstop, batting second. Justin Smoke, the big first baseman in the number 3 hole. Miguel Olivo, the catcher tonight. Franklin Gutierrez in center, followed by Greg Hallman, the left fielder. John Figgins in third, Jack Wilson at second, Eric Bedard on the mound. Miguel Olivo, you see, 13 hits, 7 home runs this month. And John Lannon on the hill for the Nationals tonight.
Yeah, working on 5 straight solid outings. Last time out, received a no decision despite allowing just 2 runs on 6 hits in 7 innings. He walked 2 and struck out 2. Fastball slurve change from John Lannon. And the defense behind John Lannon tonight for the Nationals. Jerry Hairston gets the start in left field. Bernardino in center, Worth in right. Desmond and Zimmerman on the left side. Espinosa and Morse on the right side. And Wilson Ramos, last night's hero, doing the catching.
And stepping in, Ichiro to lead the ball game off for the Mariners. 37-36. Tough on the road for Seattle. They've lost 18, winning 16. And our first pitch of the ball game at 7:06 drifts outside for ball 1. We're underway. Everybody buzzing about last night, FP, not only here locally in Washington, all around the country. 6-5. Who would have thought they'd come back and win that? Probably everybody in this ball club thought so.
And Johnny, these are the days when, as a player, you can't wait to get in your car and get to the ballpark. You have the winning streak, 8 games. You have a walk-off win like last night. You just can't wait to get to the yard.
Bounded back to Lannon, and he takes it in the air. There's 1 down. Good cat-like reflexes from Lannon, the left-hander. And John tonight trying to get his 5th win of the year, 4-5. Working the bases and behind the plate tonight, John Tumpane, the home plate umpire. Darrell Cousins, the crew chief. He's at first, and Ron Culpa down at second. Jim Wolf is at third. And look at the crowd coming in from the Metro outside that left field stands. They're figuring last night a lot of people left early. They shouldn't have done that, should they?
Yeah, they missed it if they left early last night. But maybe they got home, Johnny, and heard your spectacular call of the home run.
Well, even more spectacular, he sets it up. He predicted, he being F.P. Santangelo. No balls and a strike to Brendan Ryan, the Mariners shortstop. And boy, if Lannon's got that sinker going, FP, he can be mighty tough, can't he?
Yeah, we'll keep a track on the ground ball outs from John Lannon tonight. And whenever you see ground balls, you know he's down the strike zone, working fast. And I just think the confidence level for him has reached a whole new level with the streak he's got going.
There's a pop behind second, easy play for Danny Espinosa. 2 up and 2 down. Here at the top of the first. Home ERA for John, 1.84. 5th best in all of Major League Baseball. And Seattle in interleague play, 1.29 ERA, 193 opponents' batting average. They lead the major leagues. And the Nationals bullpen allowing opponents to hit only 220. That's 3rd in all of Major League Baseball. 2 up and 2 down at the top of the first. We're just underway at Nationals Park. Nice night for a ball game. A little toasty outside. 91 of the radar gun for that pitch for John. Misses. Outside, 1 ball and no strike. FP, we talk about looking at the comments from the guys in the clubhouse last night. Lots of fight in the ball club. Nobody says they ever give up till that last out is made.
No, and I caught a little flack from some of the guys today for saying the best thing about today is tomorrow with 2 outs to go in the 9th inning. But we were up here talking about how they fight till the last out. And, Johnny, when you start winning games like that, you have a different swagger about you as a ball club. You start walking people off the field. You start winning games in your last at-bat. You start beating good teams.
Right.
Like sweeping the St. Louis Cardinals. You look at the Seattle Mariners right now in 2nd place in the AL West. This is a good baseball team. So now all of a sudden you start to build confidence and you feel like it's just a matter of time before you win another baseball game. And just a different buzz around the ballpark the last couple of days.
You can feel it. Line drive to Desmond. 3 up, 3 down. Ichiro gone. Ryan gone. Smoke gone. We have played 1/2. The Nationals come into back in a scoreless ball game. Strikes in that first inning. Let's take a look at the National starting lineup packaged by the UPS store. We love logistics. Jason Worth will lead off. He's in right field tonight. Ian Desmond batting second at short. Ryan Zimmerman, the Nationals third baseman, followed by Michael Morse, Danny Espinosa, Wilson Ramos, the hero from last night's ball game. Gary Hairston Jr. came in late to play left field when Nix went out. And then John Lannon in the number 8 hole, and Roger Bernardina will bring up the rear hitting ninth. But a pretty good number 9 hitter with a .282 batting average.
And Eric Bedard gets the start for the Mariners tonight. His 14th start of the year. Last time out, he won his 4th straight decision against Anaheim. The 3rd time this year that he's won at least 6 shutout innings. He retired the side in order 5 of the 7 innings he pitched. Struck out 5, walked none. 96 pitches last time out for Bedard. Fastball, cutter, 2 different types of curveballs and a changeup. He'll throw a get-over curveball for a strike, and then he'll bounce one late in the count. Throw it a little bit harder.
Has not faced the Nationals since 2008. Has no record against Washington with a 2.08 earned run average. He'll face Jason Worth. Hitting a .233, 10 homers, 27 driven in. And Jason last night with a 1-for-3 night. And a walk.
And started the big rally in the 9th.
Well, he sure did.
2-base error
by Smoke. 2-base error by Smoke.
Yeah, hit the ball hard, ended up on second base, scored a run.
Bounce to the shortstop. Ryan's got it. Across to Smoke, and there's one down.
The defense tonight for the Mariners. Hallman, Gutierrez, Ichiro in the outfield. Ryan and Figgins on the left side. Wilson and Smoke on the right side. Olivo doing the catching.
Sean Figgins tonight at third base, FP.
Yeah, he's had a tough year so far for the Mariners, and he's been struggling a little bit. He comes in tonight's game hitting just .193. So this is a guy that historically has been a good offensive player, just having trouble this season getting it going for the Mariners.
Sean, a outstanding base stealer, 315, 4th most in the major leagues the last 7 seasons. There's a shot to center. Off the bat of Desmond, a lot of room out there in center, and Franklin Gutierrez runs it down, and we've got 2 down at the bottom of the 1st. So like Lannon, first 2 batters retired. Ryan Zimmerman strides to the plate. Then last night 1 for 4. And still got that hitting streak going though. 10 consecutive ball games with 58 removed in the middle of it, when he was battling that abdominal tear. The left-hander, the former Oriole, drafted by the Orioles, Eric Bedard. 16 interleague starts, 1.79 earned run average, lowest of any pitcher with at least 100 innings pitched this year. And pretty good numbers too up here in that streak. 8-1 during those 16 interleague starts.
Yeah, and on the season, just 23 walks in 77 innings. So you see the early game plan from the Nationals hitters. You swing early, get a fastball out over the plate, and get on it. You don't want to get to 2 strikes. A tremendous out pitch, one of the better curveballs you'll see from a left-hander all year.
Eric last year spent the entire first half of the year on the DL, recovering from left shoulder surgery. 32 years of age, from Navan, Ontario. And the count is 1-2 to Zimmerman. Couple of home runs, 8 RBIs for Ryan. Bedard's got a nice fluid motion, doesn't it?
Very smooth. The ball gets on you quickly. Talking to Seattle people today before the game, they said the difference in Bedard this year to years past is he has confidence to come inside. You know, in the past it was 2-seam fastballs away, curveballs, and changeups, but this year he's throwing the fastball into righties a lot more, and he's having success with it.
Selected by Baltimore 12 years ago, the '99 June draft out of Norwalk Tech Community College in Connecticut. Played the Junior College World Series. All-Star futures for the World Squad 01 and 02. And the count is 4 to Zimmerman. 3-2, no score, bottom of the 1st. And Bedard delivers and lost him.
And choosing to go 3-2 curveball there to Ryan Zimmerman.
So the Nats get their first base runner of this game. And Ryan's 7th walk this year. Michael Morse, 10th in the National League with a batting average of .308. And takes a breaking ball inside for ball 1. Here's one of these guys, FP, I guess, that figured if I ever get the chance to play on a regular basis, look out, because I need to play to show what I can do, and he's done it.
Yeah, I talked to him in spring training a bunch, and he said, I just want to play every day. I think he fell in the trap early during the season, where a lot of guys do, is you're trying to prove that you belong, prove that you're an everyday player, and you try too hard.
Ball gets away momentarily from Olivo. Zimmerman's not going anywhere. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. And he has adjusted his batting stance a little bit this year from last year, too.
Yeah, he's got his hands out there over the plate, kind of hanging out in the strike zone. And early in his career, he had everything the other way. And this enables him to be a little more free and to pull the baseball in the inner half of the plate. And you've seen the results.
64 hits for Michael this year, 13 homers, 43 driven in. He's got Zimmerman at first, and again Bedard comes inside and falls behind on the count. 3 balls and no strikes.
Haven't seen Michael Morse swing very often in this count this year, but this would be a good time, especially a guy with a good out pitch, the curveball that Bedard features. And he'll throw it 3-1, so you might get one right down the middle right here.
And Michael swinging at 3-0. 8 up Figgins at third base. He hadn't got to play at first, and Morse on got to be a base hit.
Yeah, that ball was hit hard.
You're not kidding.
Usually the first hit of the game has to be a clean one, though, so we'll see how they score that. But Morse got all over that 3-0 fastball. If he would have got that ball elevated at all, it's in the bleachers because you hit that as hard as you can.
Well, they're going to call charge Figgins with an error.
You look at the top spin right here. See that last hop on the dirt? If that last hop hits the grass, it's not such a violent top spin hop to Chone Figgins, but the fact that that last hop hit the dirt, a little bit harder right there. The top spin ate him up.
So Figgins is charged with an error. Morse at first. Zimmerman advances down to second. And Danny Espinosa will step in with 2 down in the bottom of the first. On our opening a few minutes ago, when you were talking about Danny and Wilson Ramos, how many managers like Jim Riggleman throughout Major League Baseball would love to have 2 guys in the center of the infield and the future they have with this organization?
Let me think about it for a second.
No,
all of them?
Yeah, all of them, yes.
Every single one of them? Why wouldn't you? 24-year-old, 23-year-old playing like they've been in the league for 10 years.
And can only get better.
See the last 7 games from Danny Espinosa, and on a team that's hitting .223 against lefties, Danny's hitting .315.
And the pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. Bedard, a little control problems here in the first inning. They won his last, in fact, his 4th straight decision, last start against the Angels. And he goes outside with a fastball, and it's 2-1. .79 ERA, the lowest in Major League Baseball history during interleague play. Guy can pitch. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Up the middle, base hit for Espinosa. Zimmerman rounding third. No play at the plate. The Nationals lead it 1-0.
Pick up right where you left off. Why not? Danny Espinosa with a big hit in the 9th inning last night to score a run. The first inning tonight, what does he do? He's hitting .315 right-handed, adds on to it. Look at this pitch from Bedard, just digs it out, a fastball down. Look at the swing. Going down to get it, got it down by the label. Little bloop single for Danny Espinosa, knock, RBI, 1-0 Nats.
45 RBIs for Danny, leads all Major League rookies in that category. He's at first. Morse is at second. 2 down, and the Nationals have 1 in. And Wilson Ramos greeted by a thunderous ovation by virtue of what he did last night, putting that baby up there in the red porch seats And as soon as it left the bat, you knew this ball game was over.
He just missed the first pitch, too. Fastball right down the middle from Paulie. He fouled it off, and then he got a slider out over the plate that he was all over.
Said he's never had a walk-off game-winning home run.
Well, that's what I was talking about in the Open, Johnny. At 23 years old, you wouldn't expect him to. There's guys that have played in the big leagues for 7, 8, 9 years that don't have walk-off home runs. Here he is doing it his rookie year, and the guy on first base has one under his belt, too.
Yeah, the pitch to Ramos, caught him in the outside corner for a strike, and all of a sudden Bedard ahead, no balls and 2 strikes to Ramos. Espinosa with RBI 45 down at first base. Maybe lost in the shuffle from last night's win was the fact that this ball club scored 5 runs in that 9th inning. Almost a 1-for-4 night last night, and 3 driven in. Breaking ball got him with a called strike, and Bedard gets out of it, but the Nationals push 1 across after 1 in Washington. Nationals 1, the Mariners nothing. One here at Nationals Park, and as you mentioned, FP picking up right where they left off last night. How about calling Luna today for up to 70% off all flooring? 877-241 Luna. Shop smart. Shop Luna.
And Wilson Ramos, the 4th rookie to hit a walk-off home run when the team was trailing in franchise history. So we've been talking about it all night long. A couple of rookies getting the job done.
Cleveland's Cord Phelps did it back in June 19th. And the last rookie to do it, that was Cord Phelps as well. Until last night. And it's Wilson Ramos. So Landon goes to work against Miguel Olivo, Franklin Gutierrez, and Greg Hallman. Number 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Mariners lineup tonight. Nice night to be at the ballpark, huh?
It's always a nice night to be at the ballpark.
And tomorrow should be even better. Nice afternoon game. Swing and a miss for Olivo. Gone to 1-2-3 top of the first. First time he's faced Seattle in his career. One in the dirt, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Olivo did not play last night. He is 1 for 2 lifetime against Lannon. And he pops it back foul out of play.
Johnny, we talked about it a lot. The comeback win against the Cardinals when they were down, came back, won that game. The Danny Espinosa walk-off home run. Said that was a character builder. I honestly think last night was a turning point for this baseball team. That was a character builder. They built on that. They won a lot of games in a row. And then you come out last night and you're down by 4 or 5 runs. You end up winning that game. All of a sudden, to me, you could put a star by that game. That quite possibly could be a turning point in this team's season, maybe even a turning point in this franchise's history.
I think if we go back to last year's club would not have won that game.
Well, no, I mean, they're learning how to win.
Or the year before, exactly.
And that's the fun part of being with a franchise that historically has lost. You're seeing them turn the corner. You're seeing a team learn how to win baseball games late.
Ramos trying to get Olivo at first, and he's safe. So Wilson had to pound on that ball. Olivo able to beat it out.
Now let's check it out. The pitch from John Lannon, just down.
Yeah.
Wilson Ramos blocks it, and he doesn't know where it is. And that's when you have to communicate. Front, let him know where it is. He found it late. Good strong throw to first, just not in time.
So Olivo gets on. Yeah, that's the Mariners' first base runner. With Gutierrez stepping in.
Boy, if John Lannon gets that call all night long, he is going to have a good night. 90-mile-an-hour fastball, bottom of the strike zone. That's where he needs to live.
Gutierrez had a pretty good ball game last night, FP, 3 for 4. No balls and a strike to the Mariners center fielder. And an easy fly ball to right. Wirth's got a beat on this one. And there is 2 down here in the top of the second. How about celebrate Independence Day with the Nationals on Monday, July 4th against the Cubs at 105. First 20,000 fans get a free patriotic cap presented by 106.7 The Fan. Go to nationals.com/tickets for all the information. So Gutierrez is retired and a fly ball to Wirth. That'll bring up the Mariners left fielder Greg Hallman. And John gets ahead in the count to him. How important is that first pitch to a batter?
Well, it's everything. Strike one is everything for a pitcher especially. You get strike one, now you can use everything. You get behind in the count, you're at a disadvantage because the hitter knows what's coming.
Out to Zimmerman, to Espinosa, to Morse. Got him! Double play around the horn. Prettiest in baseball. How about that? We go to the bottom of the second. The Nationals with a 1-0 lead.
Nationals. Let's go back to the top of the second, the 5-4-3 double play that ended it. Great play by Ryan Zimmerman. Gets stuck in between right there. What does he do? Very aggressive. Goes after the baseball. Perfect feed to Danny Espinosa, who hangs tough with a strong throw. But right there, the moment of truth. Ryan Zimmerman going to get the baseball. If you sit back on that, no way you turn the double play. Great job by Danny Espinosa hanging tough. And a lot has been said about Ryan Zimmerman's throwing lately, working on his mechanics. That was perfect. Great feed, great turn. That's how you draw it up. Nice 5-4-3 double play.
And the great shot of the Exmo brought to you by the 2011 Jeep Compass. Jerry Hairston Jr., John Lannon, and Roger Bernardina will hit in the Nationals' second with a 1-0 lead for John Lannon. Espinosa came in as a replacement for Nix last night. Jerry scored after getting on base with a single in that ninth inning. No balls and a strike. Hairston in left field tonight. Lance Nix kind of tweaked his Achilles, I guess, last night. Or pulled it, FP?
Well, he didn't pull it. He just had a sore Achilles for a while. It was barking last night. He decided, I think, a very smart move by Lance Nix to shut it down. You know, a guy like Lance Nix probably throughout his career tried to play through stuff like that. What happens, you end up blowing out and missing a couple of months.
Hairston with a pop behind the plate. Olivo trying to get a beat on it. Back about 10 rows in the stands. And Debbie did have a chance. He had a chance to visit with Lance Nix.
Right, Johnny, and as FP said, he said it's something that's been nagging him recently, but he did say he's available tonight to pinch hit, and he is pretty certain he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow.
That's good news. 10 home runs, tied for second in this ball club from Lance Nix. And the count to Hairston, no balls and 2 strikes. And Bedard delivers. And he got him. That's the second strikeout and second consecutive one for Eric Bedard.
Check out the pitch from Bedard. 0-2 count, way ahead, and that's the curveball we're talking about. Check out the tilt on this pitch. A lot of lefties have a 12-6 curveball, meaning it goes straight down. And that one goes down and in. A little back knee action right there from Eric Bedard.
So Lannon looking for his first base hit of the year. And the 17th of his major league career. Now John has walked 3 times. Looks at a pitch, catches the outside corner, and the count is 0-2.
John Lannon 0 for 27 on the season, but it's a hard 0 for 27.
And the 0-2. Misses outside. You know what John's answer to that would be? I'm not here to hit. I'm here to pitch.
Absolutely. He's done a good job of sacrificing guys over, getting the job done, helping himself out in that regard. He just doesn't have any hits to show.
So Bedard has struck out 3 consecutive Nationals. Ramos in the first, now Hairston Jr. and Lannon. And Roger Bernardina trying to snap this strikeout streak. Roger last night a 1-for-3 night with an RBI and a walk. And his batting average up at .282. Another example, FP, of a guy that plays will just continue to get better.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you got to wind Roger Bernardina up and watch him go the rest of the season. Had a big walk. That was a great at-bat in the 9th inning last night. I mean, you talk about league. He has thrown 98 miles an hour, a couple pitches in that he took. He took some nasty splits in the dirt. He fouled off a pitch with 2 strikes, and that walk was a huge part of that inning.
Swings at a fastball that misses, the count 1-1. Figgins in on the infield grass. And one of the quickest guys in the National League is Roger Bernardina. He's got 10 stolen bases already. Bedard hit 93 in the gun that last pitch. And a breaking ball gets him, and it's 1-2.
And I think you're seeing all of a sudden why the game plan is get Bedard early and get that first fastball for a strike and get on it, because you see the out pitch. Curveball is nasty.
He's allowed only 2 runs only once in his last 9 starts. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Bernardina, 2 down in the second. Nationals have a run in the first inning with a 1-0 lead. And with a win tonight, would be even up at 37-37. First time at 500 since May the 11th, when the ball club was 18-18. And the 1-2. 4th consecutive strikeout for Eric Bedard. And the Nationals are gone in the second. 1-2-3. We go to the top of the third. 1-0 Washington. Take a look at the PNC Minor League report. Solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. PNC for the achiever in you. Bryce Harper, 0 for 2 the RBI at the All-Star game. Steven Lombardozzi's been called up, promoted to AAA Syracuse from Harrisburg. And the Nats have agreed to terms with 18 players from the draft yesterday, including the 5th rounder. So Lannon will face Sean Figgins, Jack Wilson, and Eric Bedard in the Seattle 3rd. And gets ahead in the count. No balls and a strike to Figgins with a 193 batting average and 6 driven in. And quickly ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Nats with a 1-0 lead here in the 3rd. And a pop up down behind the first base dugout out of play. One thing about John, FP, when you look at him pitch, when he's got the good rhythm as well with the sinker working, that really makes him effective.
Yeah, good tempo. A lot of times he can work too fast. We've seen him get going so fast that he needs to slow himself down, but you love the fact that he just gets the ball, throws it, pounds the strike zone. And like I said, ever since the game here against San Diego, he went 7 2/3, gave up 2 hits, no runs. They struck out 5 and walked 2. I think, kind of turned the corner for John this season. Then, he faced the Phillies, went 5 1/3, gave up 4 hits. Then at San Francisco, went 7 innings. At San Diego, went 6 innings. And faced the Cardinals last time out 7 innings. You see the result. Just the way he's carrying himself on the mound right now, the way he looks between pitches. All of a sudden, John Lannon's gotten a lot bigger out there. And look at the last pitch to Sean Figgins. The little curveball right there, that slurvy curve he throws. That's a great shot of the rotation.
Great shot is right.
Look at that. That ball's going straight down, and Sean Figgins was nowhere near.
Just a little out front. And that's John's first strikeout of the ball game. And Jack Wilson, the Seattle second baseman, hitting .239, steps in to face the left-hander for the first time. Olivo, beg your pardon, that's the second strikeout. Olivo went down in the second inning. John from Manhasset, New York. Going to talk to Jim Riggleman coming up soon about what's transpiring in this ball game. And boy, I think the line on Jim Riggleman this year, when you look at what this ball club has been able to achieve without Ryan Zimmerman for 58 games, LaRoche is gone with an injury, and Keel gone with an injury. No Steven Strasburg. He's done a terrific job.
Absolutely.
And has the clubhouse together like it's never been before. A lot of respect for Jim, IFP.
Absolutely. And, I think the low point of the season so far was when the Nationals were in Milwaukee. Some things were said in the paper, then all of a sudden they come home, have a little team meeting, a little powwow in the clubhouse, and ever since they talked it out as a ball club, as a team, they've been playing a lot better.
Bouncing ball to second, Espinoza. Easy play to Morse. And Wilson, one of the more swiftier guys in the team, he's gone. On a 4-3. Don't forget to expect flexibility with our new midseason flex plans. You can pick 3 games, get a 4th one free, and a new era cap. All you have to do, go to nationals.com/flex. Eric Bedard up for the first time.
I'm flexing right now, Johnny.
How'd you like the coat I wore in the opening? Did you like that?
That was nice. Where'd you get that?
Good, right from your rack over there.
Johnny got the memo that we're wearing the Masson golf shirts today. He forgot to bring his coat, so I lent him my coat.
Yeah.
A little big on you.
Yeah, the 48 long. What the heck? I had some pens in the back holding it on.
It looked good on you.
Yeah. Wait till I tell the guys from Oak Ridge High School back in El Dorado Hills, I wore FP's coat on television.
Well, we're proud at Oak Ridge High School. They had a kid in the College World Series yesterday for Cal, Kyle Porter. Did a great job in the College World Series, so not too many kids from that school get to go Division I, so congratulations to him for throwing a win for the Golden Bears from the University of California in the College World Series.
Yeah. One ball and 2 strikes to Eric Bedard. Landon has faced 8 batters in the first couple of innings. Fouled back, and Bedard, who's 1 for 3 on the year, stays alive. Fouls it down the first base line. He was acquired from the Orioles back in 08 in that 6-player deal they had. Adam Jones, Chris Tillman among the 6 players in that trade.
I'll tell you what, I can't tell you how impressed I was with Adam Jones watching him play 6 times this year. I think he's one of the most underrated players in all of baseball. Just a force on offense. He goes and gets the ball in center field. He plays hard. He plays the game the right way. And I was telling some people that today. Very impressed with that guy from the Orioles.
Solid outfielder, too, isn't he?
Absolutely. Goes and gets him. He just plays the game the right way, and he has a tremendous amount of ability. He plays hard. He breaks up double plays. He runs a base as well. Good player.
Bedard is gone. Call strike 3. It's 9 up and 9 down for Landon as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. And one about to be a little older. As the Nationals have a 1-0 lead over Seattle, we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and Jim Bertelmann's got the headset on downstairs in the Nats dugout. And Jim, I know of all the years you've spent in Major League Baseball and going back to your days in college and so forth, have you ever seen a more dramatic comeback than what you had last night for this ball club?
No, not really. That was pretty special. You know, that was just the guys just kept going up there getting good at bats, and you know, we took advantage of the situation a little bit, and it was just a great win.
Skipper, you got a lot of opportunity to manage the big leagues, a lot of experience. Have you ever seen young guys come through like guys on this team have this year?
I don't think you know, as many as we've had do it. You know, Espinosa and Ramos in particular, but you know, being parts of big rallies, all of our young guys, Desmond, Bernardina. So many of them. Mike is not particularly young, but you know, experience-wise, he's fairly young, and he's been a big part of almost every rally we've had, it seems like.
And Skipper, what about this guy in the batter's box right now, Jason Worth? Are you going to keep leading him off, or is there going to be an opportunity to maybe get him lower in the order?
Well, you know, I probably will tomorrow lead him off, and then when we go on the road trip and we have a couple DH cities, we'll probably make an adjustment to it, getting down a little bit. But really, as far down as you'll get probably will be the number 2 spot. He's going to likely hit first or second. I think he really profiles as an outstanding number 2 hitter, but somebody's got to get on base leading off. Our issue really is when a left-hander's pitching, we need somebody to lead off. Against a right-hander, I'm fine with Bernardino doing it.
Jim, one more question for you before I let you go. We were talking a few minutes ago about how tight that clubhouse is. It's the best clubhouse that I've seen since baseball came back to Washington. That's so important to a ball club success.
Yeah, it's starting to become a team. You're a group, and it's got to become a team. And I think we've worked toward that, and guys in there are doing a good job of connecting.
Yeah, and Skipper, the game against the Cardinals, a great comeback win. I thought that was a character builder. I'm talking about it up here tonight. I thought last night might be a turning point in your season.
Well, let's hope so. Guys are playing hard and they're focused and attention to detail, all those good things. And, they're doing all the right things. Let's just see if we can get this tough left-hander.
All right, Jim, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. You bet. Worth had flied to Ichiro in right field, and Desmond flied to left field in his first time at the plate. Fouls it off, and ahead in the count is Bedard to Ian. No balls and 2 strikes. Well, FP, the ball clubs you played on, how were the clubhouses that you played on? Who was the best, the tightest, and one that you had some questions about?
2001 Oakland A's. Jason Giambi led that group. It was a frat house every day. Won 102 games, won 102 and 60. And you just couldn't wait to get to the ballpark every day, Johnny. It was just a great group of guys. So, you get home from the game the night before, and you couldn't sleep fast enough to get back to the yard. And you talk about what these guys are doing right now. I think they're starting to sense that, starting to feel that. It's a great group of guys. They like being around each other. It's a fun clubhouse. And I think when you start winning baseball games like that, where you're all bouncing at home plate, where you're walking people off, you're leaving the other club standing out there, those are things you build on, and that's what gets a team close.
How about the Giants? How about the Dodgers?
They were all good clubhouses. I mean, you can't really say any bad things. They're just sometimes there's better clubhouses than others. And, when you live with each other for 6, 7, 8 months out of the year, and you're on planes and you're on buses, you're on trains, you're in hotels together, you're in the clubhouse every day together, it translates into wins when you got a bunch of guys that are on the same page pulling for each other. And from what I've seen with this club, they're a great bunch to be around. And
Terrific.
They generally like being around each other. And there's not a whole lot of teams in Major League Baseball that can say that.
Desmond goes deep to left field. Drifting back is Hallman on the warning track, and he's got it. Yeah, there's 2 quick outs here in the Nationals' third.
Well, 2 quick outs, but 2 balls that were hit right on the screws.
Yeah, Worth nailed one to Ichiro in right. Ryan Zimmerman walked back in the first and scored the Nationals' only run. They've got a 1-0 lead. Of course, when you came up with Montreal in '95, you're a new guy. How did you fit into a clubhouse with a lot of veterans that they had in those days?
Well, I think when you talk about that compared to the Washington Nationals, they're doing it the right way. They're building from within. So when you come up through the minor leagues with guys, and then you're in the major league clubhouse with those same guys, it makes the transition very easy. In Montreal, same way. There was an emphasis on the minor league system. So when you finally get to the big leagues, it's not a bunch of strangers that you've seen on TV before. It's your friends.
You've been with them.
You played with them in A-ball. You played with them in AA. You played with them in AAA. And now all of a sudden, hey, we're in the major leagues together. And I think, with what Mike Rizzo is doing with this organization, the way they're building from within from the minor leagues, when you finally get to the big leagues, it's not a bunch of strange guys. You don't know who they are. Or, get guys in trades. There's not that real cohesive feel in the clubhouse. When you come up together and you've won together at the minor league level, you look at each other and say, hey, we're all buddies. We've been there. We've done it. Now let's win at the major league level. So it's not a surprise to me that Desmond and Espinoza and guys that have played together in the minor leagues are doing so well at this level because they did so well together at the minor league level.
You mentioned Mike Rizzo. Look what he did in Arizona with the Diamondbacks, and he comes here, has the same kind of plan. We have a vision. We know what we're going to do. And talking with Mark Lerner, I guess it was Saturday or Sunday, about the rise of this franchise, where it's going, where it's been. Everybody's on the same page. High pop strikeout for Zimmerman. And that's the end of the third for the Nationals. Washington with a 1-0 lead. We go to the top of the fourth.
as we move to the top of the fourth inning. Now, Bo is also the Nationals outfield coach, and earlier today he was out on the field working on some drills with the football, and he said it's something that Roger Bernardina in particular has benefited from.
He's one of the guys that in the past, if you watched, his arms would flail as he started to run a little bit farther. He's cleaned those things up, and it's really helping him defensively, and he's making more plays, and he's going to get some balls that he probably thought he couldn't get, I would say last year.
Now, these football drills help Roger control his body, keep his form, and go as long and as fast as he can out there. And, of course, Bo was his defensive back, all Big Ten at the University of Iowa. FP, Johnny.
All right, Debbie, thank you very much. Debbie's Sideline Report brought to you by AFCEA. Visit AFCEA.org, the Association of IT Pros.
Denzel's a good coach. I like that guy.
Denzel. He is a good man, isn't he?
He's fantastic.
Great person. In fact, all these guys.
He never walks by you without saying hi. Super guy, and he's going to make a great big league manager someday.
Yeah, Dan Radisson down at first. One of the best. Been around a long time. Count is 3 balls and no strikes. We go to the top of the order again. Ichiro leads off the 4th inning for Seattle. Popped it back to John in the 1st inning. And gets the call strike.
Now, you kind of tell, Johnny, when you've been around the game a while, you talk to coaches, you get a vibe. When you talk to Bo Porter, it's a guy that gets it. And that's kind of the best compliment you can give somebody. He knows the game. He's done so well with these guys running the bases and instilling a very aggressive, fearless attitude. You talk about the Nationals offense this year. Probably the batting average isn't where you'd want it, but they've done the little things right, but they've run the bases so aggressively this year. And it all started with that guy in spring training saying, look, if we want to win games, we can't be afraid to make mistakes on the bases. Don't be afraid to take the extra base. Don't be afraid to go first to third. Don't be afraid to read a ball in the dirt. Don't be afraid to get thrown out. And I think a thing that makes a good base runner at the major league level is fearlessness. You can't be afraid to make a mistake up here. You got to be aggressive, and if you get thrown out, so what? And that all goes back to Bo Porter instilling that in this ball club in spring training.
And you saw a shot of Bo and Dan Radisson side by side. Rick Eckstein and Steve McCaddy and John McLaren, Jim Lett, great bunch of coaches. Not only what they do baseball-wise, but just good guys. Great to have in the organization. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brendan Ryan. In that first inning, the 1-2-3 inning for John. Ground ball to second. Espinosa, tough play on the run. Got him. And there's 2 down. How about going to the Shake Shack? Open at the Miller Lite Scoreboard Walk, one of the hottest locations in professional sports here at Nationals Park. I understand those shakes are dynamite. Have you tried one?
I have. I had a vanilla one, and then I had one with like Heath Bar chunks in it. And then my wife went out there the other night. She waited in line for a long time, and she said it was worth every second she waited. Great stuff. Maybe if we keep talking about it.
I was just thinking the same thing.
We can get one up here, maybe?
We are sending a vibe out to those folks out there.
Not a vibe. I'm just telling them, bring us a free one. I mean, it's probably on a TV, right, in the concourse somewhere. Bring us a shake.
They got so many great places to eat in this ballpark. We could just go stand to stand to stand all the way around. No balls and a strike. And a foul down the third base line by Justin Smoke. Lined out to short his first time up. Hitting .260, 12 homers, and 40 driven in. 1-0 Washington. We're in the top of the 4th inning. Second of 3, and that's trying to win another series and get even in the standings at 37-37 with a record. And well, the record at home, FP, has been terrific. 20 wins and 13 losses in this park.
Please tell me this is a strike on our strike pitch track, because that was a good pitch. Thank you.
1 ball and 2 strikes now. Landed to Smoke. But up high, and count is even at 2-2. Please tell me it's a strike.
Well, a lot of times I think it's a strike, and then we show the box, and it's not. So,
Looked like one to me.
Not always right up here. You just go by where the ball hits the glove sometimes, but it hits the box, it's a strike.
And the count is full. The first baseman for Seattle. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 1 base hit so far in this ball game tonight. That was a Danny Espinosa RBI back in the first inning. And that is the second hit of the night. Smoke will turn, they head for second, and gets in there with a double. Right down that 336-foot left field line.
So maybe Landon a little flustered, not getting the 0-2 strike. Goes all the way to 3-2. You see the location right there. And Justin Smoke just beat a good pitch down the strike zone, digs it out for a 2-out double. Not a bad pitch from John Landon.
Yeah, the catcher Miguel Olivo steps in for the second time. Landon struck him out back in the second. One of 3 strikeouts for John. John with 52 pitches thrown and 35 strikes thus far. Olivo followed by Gutierrez if needed, and then Greg Hallman. Justin Smoke down at first after the double. That is his 17th of the season. And Landon delivers. Got him with a call strike. John working at a good pace, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been doing that all season long. Just got to be careful right here with a guy that's a little bit dangerous. 11 home runs on the season from Olivo. Got first base open. Gutierrez on deck.
Olivo not hitting much for average. Gets a base hit. Smoke will turn third, heading for home, and we've got a tie ball game. Olivo with his 35th driven in this year, and ties it up at 1.
So the missed strike call on an 0-2 pitch from John Landon cost the Nationals a run.
Well,
nice piece of hitting right here. Fastball off the plate away. Olivo stays on it. Not trying to do too much with runners in scoring position. Good piece of hitting. Got a tie ball game. Start over.
And only Seattle's second hit of this ball game. Nationals have 1. And Landon delivers. Gutierrez, the center fielder, flew out to center his last time up, flew out to right last time up. After a big night last night, 3 for 4. Average down to 208. And the 0-1 from John. Breaking ball in there for a strike. On deck, Greg Hallman. Landed with a check of the runner at first. Olivo. Smoke has scored. And a toss back to first. He's back safely.
And maybe he went after Olivo because Gutierrez is hitting .318 against lefties this year, 7 for 22. So when you talk about having first base open, Smoke on second base, yeah, go after Olivo. Because Gutierrez has handled lefties this season.
Yes, he has. Gutierrez has never faced John before. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 out here in the Seattle 4th, and 1 run is in. 1-1 ball game. Johnny Holiday, FP Santangelo with you. Bob Carpenter back on Friday night. And the ball club wings their way to Chicago, opening up a weekend series against the White Sox. And the 1-2. Runner going, ball foul back.
Be a fun weekend. Anytime you're around Ozzie, it's a fun weekend. Alex Cora gets to reunite with his brother Joey Cora, the coach for the White Sox. It'll be fun.
White Sox very much in contention, as are the Angels. When was the last time we played the Angels? A long time ago, huh? Not that I can remember. Pitch misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 down here in the 4th inning. Seattle as a team hitting only .231 this year. 2 back of Texas in the American League West. Nothing but twos on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Grounded down to Zimmerman. Across the diamond to Morse. Nice stretch. And he's safe. Pulled him off the bag. Well, Michael did all he could, FP, with a 6'5" frame to try to get that out.
And that's the throw that Ryan Zimmerman has been having trouble with. We talked about it last night. He got into a good position right there and just threw it a little bit wide. He's been working on getting that power T position. You see where he's getting it right there, but he had to hurry. He has to compensate because of the injury. He has to get rid of it a little bit quicker than he normally would, and he threw it wide.
And as you mentioned, the injury, FP, his throwing motion is different since he's come back.
He's been working on it.
Yep, been working on it.
But when you think about throwing, you throw with your core. You throw with your abs. A lot of people think, oh, he's got a good arm, but where do you get your power from? Usually it's your core and your lower half and your legs.
Right.
So with Ryan Zimmerman right now, bouncing back from that injury, the core's probably not as strong as he'd like it to be. So he's trying to compensate by getting into a good position, getting his legs underneath him. Right there, because the ball was hit to his right, it was such a long throw, he didn't really have time to shuffle, get his feet underneath him, get in that power position he's been working on.
And how much of a thought process does he go through when he gets a ground ball like he just picked up, and then you're kind of, do you throw with a new style of throwing or the old style?
Well, he's been working on it so much that hopefully there's not a thought process. It's just autopilot when he gets into the game. If you're thinking about where your hands got to be and what you got to do, you're in trouble.
Espinosa on the receiving end of a toss from Desmond. The inning is over. Seattle with a run, and they have tied the ball game as we head to the bottom of the 4th here at Nationals Park. Seattle 1 and Washington 1. We'll be back in just a moment. .64 pitches, 4 innings pitched, hadn't walked anybody, struck out 3. Eric Bedard, 3 strong innings, 1 walk and 5 Ks and 43 pitches. How about Danny Espinosa, the only RBI from the Nationals in the first inning?
Yeah, first inning, he scored Ryan Zimmerman. Nice swing right there, digging out a low pitch, getting it into center field. So Danny Espinosa has been money all season long with runners in scoring position.
And as we come to the bottom of the 4th, Michael Morse will lead off for the Nationals. And Danny Espinosa and Wilson Ramos. Michael reached in an error back in inning number 1. It's a line drive, foul down the left field line. Watching him in batting practice, FP, he launches some just laser shots.
Did you hear the sound on that? That was loud. Everything off his barrel lately has been loud. Let's listen to this. Different sound off his bat. Just got around it a little bit. Couldn't keep it fair. Had that hook spin on it, but a good swing nonetheless.
Would you like to see Michael in the All-Star game and that All-Star Derby? Huh?
Yeah, I'd like to see him in the All-Star game, period.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Putting up some All-Star numbers. 308, 313, and 43 coming into tonight's game.
Let's not forget the 2 stolen bases. Grounded down to third. Figgins gobbles it up and across the smoke, and there's one away. But Morse is retired. And in the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown, league leaders, action-packed table games, and red-hot slots await everybody at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. Since the 5th of June, 15 runs, 4th in the major leagues, 12 extra base hits, 3rd best in the majors. Home runs with 6, 4th best, and 17 RBI, 6th best in all of baseball. Not just the National League. I would say maybe an understatement, FP. He is getting it done.
Last 40 games, 48 for 134, 358, 26 runs, 12 doubles, 12 homers, 33 RBI.
Pride and joy down in Davie, Florida. A lot of National fans watching our telecast tonight down there. Foul back from Danny Espinoza. Single to center his first time up and had the game's only RBI for Washington. Nats as a team hitting .236 with Michaels .308, the leading average on this ball club. Eric Bedard's been tough to get to since that first inning. The Nationals have not had a hit since Espinoza in the first. And Bedard has struck out 4 of the 6 batters he's faced since then. High drive to left. That's going to drop in for a base hit for Danny Espinoza. A little something going now for the Nationals here in the 4th.
Yeah, Danny Espinoza 3 for his last 3, average climbing.
They have the Nationals catcher Wilson Ramos, a strikeout in the first against Bedard. That is 4th game-winning RBI last night, but the most impressive of his young career as a rookie, that 3-run walk-off shot.
And one thing about Bedard, he's got it going on right now. He's been nails his last 5 starts, but anytime you pitch in as a left-hander, 2 right-handers, there's always that threat of leaving the ball out over the plate. He's been very effective so far getting the ball in on righties. Not afraid to go in there. Curveball's been fantastic, but when you pitch in, you can't afford to make a mistake in, because if you leave it out over the plate, guys with power will do damage.
And here's a guy with power right there you were looking at Wilson Ramos. Bedard didn't pitch last night because of that injury. Left shoulder surgery, so he missed the entire 2010 season. Go look at Wilson Ramos. Bedard looking in for the sign from Miguel Olivo. 1-1 ball game. The 0-1 pitch on the way. Ramos fouls it back to the screen. No balls and 2 strikes.
Good swing right there. He was on that pitch. 0-1 fastball up in the zone. Wilson Ramos fouls it straight back. Now, here's the dilemma as a hitter. When you foul a ball straight back, that's telling everybody in the ballpark that you were right on that pitch. So with 2 strikes, do you gamble and look for something else, or do you stay on the fastball? You know, generally speaking, with 2 strikes, you got to get in there, look fastball, adjust. But a lot of times if a hitter fouls the ball straight back, he'll look for another pitch because he knows that the pitcher knows that he was right on it.
And he throws a breaking ball, yeah. And down to second, Espinoza. Throw goes into center field. Danny quickly up with his feet will go down to third. Way off target, Olivo's throw down to second. And Espinoza taking advantage of it, winds up at third.
Just what we were talking about. Bo Porter right there, standing next to Danny Espinoza. They're not afraid to make mistakes. They're looking to take 90 feet. And Danny Espinoza doing a great job of reading a ball in the dirt. Watch him at first base. He looks, he sees the ball bounce. I'm going to take off. Ball in the dirt, very aggressive. Now all of a sudden you got an error on the catcher. Runner on third, 1 out from being aggressive. And this ball almost smokes him in the coconut. Just misses by a hair, but now Wilson Ramos with 2 strikes has to choke up and think about putting the ball in play somewhere in the middle of the field.
And the 1-2 from Bedard to Ramos struck him out. And that's 2 down here in the 4th. Gary Hairston Jr. striding up to the plate.
Yeah, we talked about that foul ball straight back. And what did Wilson Ramos see after that? A couple of curveballs in the dirt. So after you hit a ball 400 feet for a game-winning home run, then you foul a fastball straight back, very rarely are you going to get that pitch again.
Nationals Pitch Track brought to you by Kinetic North America, providing world-class technology to our national and homeland security customers. That is Bedard's 7th strikeout of this ball game. He has walked 1. That was Ryan Zimmerman. Now, let me just double check it now. I got 6 as well. Thought I had 7. We got 6. No Espinosa down at third. The go-ahead run for the Nats. And Jerry last night came in and started things off in that 9th inning after Zimmerman's running into a double play, and Hairston got a base hit up the middle and an RBI when Jason Worth scored. Got a chance to add 1 more to his total.
And just getting back to that point I was making, Johnny, the other night Yuniesky Maya was facing Albert Pujols, first at bat. Albert Pujols' first pitch from Maya, fastball. He fouled the ball straight back to the screen, all over it. Next pitch, curveball up in the strike zone. Pujols sitting on it, hit it into the bullpen. That's how you hit at the major league level. Pujols knew that they knew that he was right on the fastball, so what did he do? He sat curveball after that, got a curveball up in the zone, hammered it in the bullpen.
And the 1-1 to Jerry, swing and a miss, strike 2. So it's your basic, a lot of times it's your guessing game. Okay, I know what he knows what I can do, so he's gonna, and I'm gonna do this.
And more times than not it works, but you know, every once in a while they'll throw you the same pitch in the same spot that you just fouled straight back. But more times than not, you know, it's a thinking man's game, and if you're up there with a game plan, you're looking fastball, you're on it. If you foul it straight back, you're showing everybody that you were right on that pitch. You just missed it. So a lot of times you'll see hitters go someplace else, look for another pitch after that.
Seattle won, the Nationals won, and the 1-2 to Jerry Hairston Jr. low for ball 2. Look, that pitch right into the glove of the Mariners catcher Miguel Olivo.
And the one thing I've seen from Bedard so far tonight, that with 2 strikes, not throwing that curveball for a strike. Very easy to say up here, you know, we're very high up, we're watching it on TV, but when he establishes that curveball early in the count, it's tough to take it late in the count because he's shown you that he could throw it for a strike. But with 2 strikes so far, he's bounced it a lot. He hasn't thrown it for a strike. He just made it appear to be a strike.
The base hit will score Espinosa from third. Now the 2-2. Bounding ball to third, past Figgins, and the long throw across the diamond, and he's safe. Smoke could not handle the throw, and the Nationals have a 2-1 lead.
And with John Landon on deck, that is a mistake from Erik Bedard. He threw a curveball that Jerry Hairston could get on, hits it in the hole right there for a little RBI single. Good hustle, good 2-strike adjustment from Jerry Hairston. You look at him smelling a knock and an RBI right here, but see the curveball out over the plate. You got John Landon on deck, hasn't had a hit all season long. I don't know if you should have thrown Jerry Hairston Jr. a strike right there. Bedard tried to get greedy, and it cost him.
And Jerry's got his 17th RBI of the season. Had 1 last night, gets 1 more tonight, and it's 2-1 Nationals. Landon with a check swing. Third base umpire said he went through with it, so it's no balls and a strike. That ball just barely eluding Sean Figgins down at third. Ryan had a long throw to make and couldn't get there in time. Nats have their 3rd hit of the ball game. And the count 1-1 at Landon. Young looking to break out of that 0 for 28 little bump on the road he's in and get his first base hit of the year. Breaking ball in for a strike. 92 in the gun from Erik Bedard. Bedard comes in tonight at 4-4. Last start against the Angels went 7 innings, 3 hits, and a 3-1 win. And Lannon's retired, but not before the Nationals tie it up and Jerry Hairston's RBI. The Nationals have taken a 2-1 lead. At center field, FP. Who do you take in this one?
I'm not taking Teddy, that's for sure.
That makes two of it.
I don't know what that is, tackling people, but
Samurai.
A little ninja action down there. And Abe wins the race. Way to go, Abe.
Samurai Sam making a tackle out of the stands there. Well, the Nats have got a 2-1 lead now as we're almost halfway through this ball game. Good clutch hitting by Hairston. Good pitching by John Lannon.
Good read by Danny Espinosa on the ball and dirt, getting a scoring
Yeah.
position right there, being aggressive on the base pass, causing an error by Olivo. So you get a guy to third base, and Wilson Ramos doesn't get the job done. It's kind of tough when you got two strikes. Guy gets to third base, and all of a sudden, what do good teams do? They pick each other up. Jerry Hairston Jr. with a great at-bat, and I have no idea why he saw a strike from Eric Bedard in that situation.
And as FP mentioned just moments ago, aggressive on the base pass has turned out to be a very, very important part of this Nationals win. Gunn facing Sean Figgins to lead off the Seattle fifth. Atlanta with a 2-1 lead. First time he's ever faced Seattle. Figgins in this ball game struck out in the third. And he's behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Figgins has been on base safely in 10 of the last 12 ball games he's played in. 9 hits and 5 walks. 0 for 1 tonight. 8 for his last 32. Seattle 1 run and 2 hits and 2 errors. Shot down to Zimmerman. Outstanding play and across to Morse. And he gets Sean Figgins. Kind of play FP we're used to seeing Ryan Zimmerman make with consistency.
The difference there, Johnny, is he got his feet underneath him. A great glove play right here. Watch the position he gets into. Feet underneath him, gets in the power position he's been working on by himself in the cage every day. So on this one, able to get underneath him. Look at good position right there, and that's how you do it. Perfect throw from Ryan Zimmerman.
And Figgins gone 5-3 if you're scoring along with us. And Jack Wilson facing John for the second time tonight. This is with the ball. Wilson, .239 batting average, 6 driven in and 5 stolen bases. With the Seattle second baseman. Bounded down the third baseline is foul. Wednesday in Los Angeles. Last time Wilson played against the Angels, he was 1 for 3. Career against John Lannon, 2 for 6. Now 2 for 7 after that ground out to Espinosa back in the third inning. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Ask and you shall receive. FP, we have just been delivered a couple of these good-looking milkshakes from the Shake Shack. How about that?
Unbelievable. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, at the Shake Shack. Let's see, next we start down the left field line, one of those stands, and work our way around.
If you're my partner every day, I'd be about 320 by the end of the season.
You know, Ben's Chili Bowl has always been my favorite.
Jeez, Johnny. Some pizza, some hot dogs.
I love W.B. Mason and all Harris Teeter and all these signs around the ballpark. No, seriously, thanks to you guys very, very much. FP is drinking both of them.
They're not kidding. They're awesome.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 down here in the Seattle 5th. Landed facing Jack Wilson. Bouncer down to Danny Espinosa. On to Michael Morse. 2 up and 2 down in the 5th inning. 4-3. Wilson retired. AT&T trivia. Fact number 1, the Nationals have won 13 games this month. That's the most games they won in a month. Last season was 13.
It's only the 22nd.
Yep. 8 games left in this month of June. You win 1 more, you clinch your first winning month of June since 2005. They've also won 7 straight over Seattle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Bedard, who struck out in the 3rd. Looks like he may be cashing this one in. Pete.
Well, he just threw the same pitch to John Landon to strike him out. So Landon said, you know what? You're going to throw me your curveball. Guess what? Here's my curveball.
And Bedard's count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Mariners manager Eric Wedge right there, sporting the sweet Fu Man.
And the bouncing ball outside. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Full count to the pitcher. Don't want to lose him. Bouncing ball to Zimmerman. It'll be a quick 1-2-3 inning. Bedard is retired, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. And the Nationals clinging to a 2-1 lead at Nationals Park. TNT and trivia fact, the Nats have won 13 games this month. Most games won in a month. Last season was 13. And fact number 2, the last time they won 14 games in a month, August 2008. Coming up tomorrow, the Nationals wrapping it up at 1 o'clock on Massett HD. The Nats and Mariners closing out this quick 3-game series. Michael Pineda this season, 7-4. 2.64 ERA, 5th best earned run average in the National League against Jason Marquis for Washington. Boys, he been on. IFP 7-2. Best record for the Nationals this year. Nats are 11-3 in his 14 starts. All begins at 12:30 with Nats Extra with Phil Wood and Byron Kerr.
Yeah, Pineda's. I've been excited to see this guy pitch. I've been hearing a lot about him, the 22-year-old right-hander. He's 6'7", 240, throws 98, 99 miles an hour.
Eric Bedard, 7 strikeouts, 2 ground outs, and 3 flyouts. And his ball club trails 2-1. Roger Bernardina will lead things off. In the Nationals' 5th. Rogers back up the middle. Ryan runs and guns and got him. 1 pitch and 1 out. Happy to have you spending your Wednesday night with us here at Nationals Park. Bob Carpenter's taking a few days off. He's back with the club on Thursday. Johnny Holiday and FP Santangelo with you. Debbie Taylor down in the field. A great crowd on hand tonight. Enjoying this ball game. And FP, it's a delightful pleasure to be working with you.
Having fun, Johnny. We're having a good time.
I guess I was in 7th grade when you were playing. I really enjoyed you as a major leaguer.
7th grade.
Okay, 8th.
I'm trying to think of a funny comeback, and I have nothing right now.
I am guessing. I'm only guessing what kind of a ball player you are. I knew of you with Oakland. I knew of you with the Dodgers, with the Giants, with Montreal. But I'm guessing you were a no-nonsense guy when you stepped between those lines.
Well,
Guessing.
That's the one thing you can control as a ball player every day is your effort and your attitude. And I played every single game my whole career like it was my last. I did.
At this day and age, it could be your last, right?
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
Go out there, let it all hang out for 3.5 hours, and then do it again the next day.
Jason grounded out to short, lined out to right in his first 2 trips against Bedard. You know, the one comment you keep hearing over and over again from a lot of guys today, and of course in your days out in San Francisco working with the Giants, I'm sure you heard the same thing with guys saying, you know something, we're playing a kid's game. We're getting paid a pretty good piece of change to play a kid's game. We really enjoy what we're doing.
Well, if you don't, you should be doing something else.
That's right.
Are you kidding me? You're going to play at a major league ballpark every night in front of a lot of people on TV, getting paid a lot of money to go out there and compete and look a pitcher in the eye and try to beat him. There's no better job in the world. I'm sorry.
Well, Worth has worked the count to 3-1 and draws a walk. His first time on base tonight. Well, today in baseball history, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Switch to Fios, a network ahead. To learn more, visit Verizon.com. Get Fios. This day, back in June 22nd of 1932, the National League finally approves players wearing numbers. The American League had started in 1929. The National League caught up with them 3 years later.
Johnny, it must have been tough doing games back then without guys having numbers on their jerseys.
You know, I spent most of my time teaching Carpenter how to broadcast. He'll hear about that, I guarantee. He's probably calling right now on your cell phone.
I mean, how in the world, Johnny, did you do it? Just that guy with a double?
Hey, it wasn't easy. All right, it wasn't easy. No balls and a strike to Ian Desmond. He's 0 for 2. Jason Worth down at first base. That's Bedard's second walk of the night, along with 6 strikeouts. And the left-hander checking Worth at first. And Desi fouls it off down the right field line.
Now, you talk about guys without numbers. I guarantee you it was probably very interesting for the fans. You get to know the guy by the way he walks, the way he wears his uniform, the way he runs, his gait, his swing. You know the guys personally. You don't have to look and see their numbers or a big, huge name on their back. You just know the players. Probably a little more intimate back in those days.
As a kid growing up in California, Giants were your favorite team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And back in the days of who? Was it McCovey and Mays and those guys, or after that?
No, I grew up watching the bench coach for the Seattle Mariners, Robbie Thompson, play. One of my favorite players of all times. Went down and talked to him today. Great second baseman for the San Francisco Giants. There he is. In my rookie year, I got on second base for the Montreal Expos, and I'm thinking, wow, I am standing next to one of my favorite baseball players ever. Here he comes. He's coming over to talk to me right now on second base. And what does he say? Are you stealing signs? Are you relaying signs to the other team? So here I am trying to meet my boyhood idol, and he's screaming at me on second base. So we had a good chuckle about that story today. had my son with me. He said, "Hey, did you tell your son the story about how you met me?" So can you imagine growing up rooting for a guy? You're finally on the field standing next to your boyhood idol. He comes over and you think he's going to say, "Hey, dude, way to swing it." He starts screaming at me, telling me I better quit relaying signs to the hitter, and I wasn't. That's the thing. I still, to this day, I said, Robbie, I would tell you if I was relaying signs. I was not relaying signs. I was just happy to be on a major league field.
1-2 to Desmond. And got him looking. Strikeout number 7 for Eric Bedard. And there's 2 down here in the Nationals' 5th inning.
And this is what Seattle people are saying has changed Eric Bedard around. Just pounding that fastball in to right-handed hitters with 2 strikes. And you saw it right there to Ian Desmond.
Verizon 4G LTE, built so you can rule the air. Ryan Zimmerman steps in for the 3rd time. He has walked tonight and struck out in the 3rd. Zimmerman trying to keep his 10 consecutive game hitting streak going tonight. Nationals up by a run, 2-1. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jason Worth with the lead off first.
This is where you think he's going to go sometime early in this sequence. 9 stolen bases, caught twice. You're leading off right now. Got to find a way to get into scoring position.
And 1 ball to no strikes to Zimmerman. Dart has thrown 73 pitches. 50 of those for strikes. And he's gotten up as high on that radar gun as 94 tonight. Heading the count to Zimmerman. 1 ball to no strikes outside. Olivo faking a throw down to first base, and Worth back safely. Good look at the Mariners catcher, Miguel Olivo. We're talking to Bob Boone before the game tonight down in the dugout. Getting just some tremendous stories from Bob of his days as a catcher and what catchers have to go through with the mask and throws from the outfield, and how they really don't have a lot of practice of throws to catchers before ball games like they used to many years ago. We look at Pudge in the dugout.
You know, that's a good point with, you know, teams taking infield, kind of being a dinosaur in today's game. Catchers don't work on fielding balls on a hop from the outfield. And we've seen this year a lot of catchers drop a lot of baseballs on good throws from outfielders.
Yep. And how each ballpark and the ground and the infield is different, and field's different with the ball skipping, thrown from the outfield. The catcher just don't practice that like they should, or like they used to.
Well, outfielders in batting practice will throw to bases. They'll throw to second. They'll throw to third during batting practice to get their work in. But you know, very rarely does a team take the traditional infield like they used to back in the day. You know, infielders get their work done during batting practice. They throw to bases. Outfielders do too.
Rod swing and a miss.
But when you're talking about traditional infield, you know, in the outfield, 2 to second, 2 to third, 2 to home, teams don't do that anymore. So that's a great point by Bob, is catchers don't work on fielding the ball on short hops, long hops. You know, guys in traditional infield will take the throw and then make a tag as if the runner was coming in.
That's right.
They don't do that anymore. And that's why you see a lot of balls dropped at the plate by catchers.
He made a point of emphasizing. Here's the 3-1 to Zimmerman. Line drive to right field. Ichiro's got a beat on it, and the side is retired. So the Nationals go quietly in the 5th. We go to the top of the 6th. They've got a 2-1 lead. Nationals Park. Washington with a 2-1 lead over Seattle. The ball club racking out a lot of hits tonight, 3 for the Nats and 2 for the Mariners. How about being part of Independence Day here at the ballpark with the Nationals on Monday, July 4th against the Cubs? 1:05 is first pitch. The first 20,000 fans get a free patriotic cap presented by 106.7 The Fan. Go to nationals.com/tickets. Get all the information. Nothing like spending a 4th of July at the ballpark. Lannon's numbers tonight, FP, very impressive. 2 hits over 5 innings thus far in the 1 run, 1 earned run. No walks and 3 Ks.
And I'm looking at the box score from last inning, 3 ground ball outs. All of a sudden, John Lannon getting the ball down. He's got a couple ground ball outs before that, but when he got 3 in a row, I said, all right, down the strike zones, starting to make adjustments, and he's pitched great all night long. But you'd like to see the ground ball outs from John Lannon.
And Ichiro leads off this 6th inning. He's 0 for 2 in this game. He's been like a house of fire the last 10 ball games, last 9 games. .462 batting average. A shot off Lannon's leg. He can't pick it up and throw to first base. And the home plate umpire, Jonathan Payne, making sure John's okay. And Ichiro's on.
You check out the comebacker from Ichiro. Lannon not in a good fielding position. You see him spin off right there, not facing Ichiro. Watch where he is. Kind of over, not in a good athletic position, back to the plate, and it cost him.
So Ichiro on to start the Seattle 6th. And that'll bring up the Mariners shortstop, Brendan Ryan. Ryan is 0 for 2 tonight. Came in the ball game with a .255 batting average.
Ichiro 19 stolen bases. He's been caught 4 times this year. So Jim Riggleman, Lannon, Wilson Ramos paying close attention to that guy on first.
Now that's the Mariners' 3rd hit of this ball game. Each team with 3, but the Nationals have 2 runs. The Mariners 1. Ichiro's picked up his batting average 27 points over the last 9 games. Up to 279. Here's the 1-0 to Ryan. That's 2 balls and no strikes.
A slide step right there from John Lannon. Speeds up his delivery to the plate. Now all of a sudden he's behind the count 2-0. And it'll be interesting to see if Eric Wedge decides to start Ichiro right here. A little hit and run.
And a little action out in the Nationals bullpen too. Henry Rodriguez loosening up. In a very tight ball game, 2-1.
And just a 2-0 challenge fastball from John Lannon. No, 82, 2-0 changeup, excuse me. The way Brendan Ryan swung at that, he swung at that like it was a fastball that beat him. Just a good changeup down the zone from Lannon.
And the pitch track brought to you by SAIC. SAIC is holding a career event on June 28th for cleared IT and software professionals. Visit SAIC.com/baseball to learn more.
And a good 2-1 fastball in the inner half of the plate, following up the changeup. 89 on the black from John Lannon.
And 28-year-old Brendan Ryan facing Lannon now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Ichiro down at first, always a threat to steal. High fly ball to left, going back is Hairston Jr. Can he get to it on the track? He does. Tracks it down and right back quickly to first base goes Ichiro. Long run, but out there just in front of the 377-foot sign. The cutoff went behind Ichiro at first base. Tried to throw behind him, and he winds up at third.
Well, that's one where it just was on the other side of the bag, and Michael Morse couldn't get to it. Ichiro was standing on the bag. There was no play right there.
No.
And all of a sudden, it's a 2-base mistake. Ichiro on third base with 1 out. The ball went out of play, so you get 2 bases awarded to the base runner. Tying runs on third with 1 out. That could prove to be a costly mistake.
Well, you're not kidding. Now you got the tying run at third. Line drive to Zimmerman, knocks it down. He's got Ichiro tied up between home and third and tags him out. And then throws to first. They almost got smoke at first. What a heads-up play by Ryan, FP.
What a great play by Ryan Zimmerman. Standing ovation from the crowd. They're digging it right now. And check out the Gold Glove third baseman. Just a bullet right at him. Does whatever he can to stop the ball. Now it's a good old-fashioned pickle with Ichiro. And the best thing about that is Ryan Zimmerman didn't have to make a throw. That's how you do a rundown. You close on the runner right there. Look at the cat-like reflexes. Bam. Knock it down. Good job. All of a sudden, the problem at third base is erased for the Nationals.
And then a quick throw to first. Again, a look at it. That's the way to run them down, isn't it?
And that's going to be it for John Lannon. A couple of hard hit balls by Brendan Ryan, Justin Smoak. And that'll do it. Another nice outing from John Lannon, and the fans are letting him know it.
Boy, you're not kidding. Standing ovation behind that Nationals dugout, and a tip of the hat go to John Lannon. He's got a 2-1 lead when he leaves the ball game. We'll be back in just a moment. Mariners trailing the Nationals. Washington with a 2-1 lead. 2 outs, and they got a runner at first base. Ichiro 1 hit tonight, 1 for 3. Smoak a 1 for 3 night. Miguel Olivo a 1 for 2 night. That's it for Seattle. They got 3 base hits in this ball game, and John leaves after 5 2/3, allowing just the 1 run and the 3 hits, and struck out 3. 89 pitches, 59 strikes for John.
The skipper happy, says nice job, John. And I think you talk about the couple hard hit balls there by Brendan Ryan and Justin Smoak. You know, hot night. Probably a little bit tired, laboring out there. And pass the torch to this guy in the 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, bring it in for the pin, huh? Henry Rodriguez in his 19th appearance of the season, 2-1 with a 1.77 earned run average. He inherits a runner at first and faces Miguel Olivo. Breaking ball 83. This is outside for a ball. Struck out 25 batters in 20 1/3 innings of work this year. And the 1-0. Foul back out of play. That was 99 on the radar gun.
Yeah, when you see hitters and hitters counts, you know, 2-0, 1-0, 2-1, and they're hunting a fastball and they're late like that, you know you got a good one.
Last appearance for Henry Saturday, got a hold against the Orioles with 1 2/3. Struck out a couple, walked 1. He has held opponents scoreless in 15 of 18 appearances. And a swing and a miss late on that. 99 from Rodriguez.
Throw it again.
Yeah, why not?
He's late on the 1-0, late on the 1-1. Look at this pitch by Henry Rodriguez up in the zone, 98. Maybe you think about climbing the ladder right here. You could drop the hammer on him if you want. But so far, Olivo in this at-bat has shown you that he can't handle your fastball.
And he's behind in the count. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rodriguez, a nice breaking ball. Just missed. And the count even at 2-2.
Well, it didn't miss. It buckled John Tempane behind the plate. A lot of times a good curveball will buckle the home plate umpire.
That's not a strike, FP?
That is a strike.
It's a strike. From up here, it's a strike.
And sometimes the guys have those power curveballs. You have to tell the umpire before he comes in, hey, stay with his curveball. It'll look like it's high, but it'll come back down for a strike. You know, I've played behind some guys with really good curveballs. Remember Barry Zito in Oakland when he had his nasty curveball. You had to tell the umpire, hey, stay with his curveball because a lot of times it'll look like it's out of the zone. It's got late life, late break. Stay with me on it.
Rodriguez, 24-year-old right-hander. Bouncing ball through into left field for a base hit. Smoke will take the turn at second and hold up, and Olivo on with a base hit.
A nice job of two-strike hitting.
Yep.
101-mile-an-hour fastball, so late on a couple, made the adjustments.
Now that'll bring up Franklin Gutierrez, the Mariners center fielder. And he is 0 for 2 tonight. Reached on base and error in the fourth and flew out to right in the second. Smoke at second and Olivo at first. And the tying run for the Mariners down at second base.
So you saw the 0-2 pitch to Justin Smoke in the fourth from John Lannon, missed the strike three call. It cost him a run. And right there with Miguel Olivo, that curveball looked good, and all of a sudden you got runners on first and second, 2 outs.
And Gutierrez takes a strike, nipped the outside corner. He was 3 for 4 with a run scored last night. Rodriguez with a check of the runner at second and delivers. Fastball 98, and it's 1-1. 2-1 lead for the Nationals. We're on the top of the sixth at Nats Park. Nationals trying to make it 8 straight over Seattle. And they've been up their record for the season at 37-37. And the third base umpire, Jim Wolf, said he went through with it, so it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Let's check it out. Did he go? Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, no question. Lord Rodriguez ahead of the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the fans making some noise now. Smoke at second, Olivo at first. And the 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gutierrez, a guy that battled a lot of injuries last year, missed a lot of games because of those nagging injuries. Rodriguez up to 99 in the gun that time, missed outside. The count is full again, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Boy, FP, when you're a guy that brings it as hard as he does, you want to make sure you're not overthrowing.
Well, that's been the fight.
Throwing and throwing.
It's been the battle with Henry Rodriguez all season. You know, when he's in the strike zone, almost unhittable. It's just a matter of being in that strike zone.
Bouncer down to Zimmerman. Across to Morris, and the inning is over. So Rodriguez comes in, gets the job done. We go to the bottom of the sixth, and it's still a 2-1 Nationals lead.
Time for the Coors Light freeze cam. Let's go back to the fourth inning and check out Danny Espinosa on first base, getting a good read on the ball in the dirt, being very aggressive right there. Miguel Olivo doing a good job of blocking it, but a better job by Danny Espinosa reading the ball in the dirt. Throw goes wild. He goes to third base, eventually scoring on an infield single by Jerry Hairston, and that has been the difference in the game. Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
So in the Nationals' sixth inning, Michael Morse, Danny Espinosa, and Wilson Ramos, and Tyler Clippard begins to loosen up out in that Nats bullpen. The line for Landon tonight, he went 5 2/3, 1 run, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, walked a batter, and 1 wild pitch. John in line to get his 5th win of the year after an 0-4 start in 6 games, a 6.06 ERA. He's won his last 2 of his last 5 starts. Boy, has that ERA plummeted down to 1.08, and tonight gives up just the 1 run. And Bedard still hanging tough to Michael Morse, and the count even up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Morse taking great hacks all night long. Hit that ground ball hard to Figgins the first inning. Called it an E5, grounded out a second time, hit that hard foul ball down the line. So Michael Morse has been looking hitterish all night long.
He's hit him out in 5 of the last 15 ball games. Lost the bat out of his hand, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I don't know that I've ever seen a bat toss straight back. I've seen one down the third baseline. I've seen him over the third base dugout. Check out where this one goes. Whoa.
Yeah. Right around the shoulders of John Tumpane, the home plate umpire.
A little too much pine tar on there. And the bat almost stuck to his hand a little bit too long.
Michael 6'5", what about 225, 230 or so? And his first base work with the glove has been outstanding. Swing and a miss. And Michael is gone. Let's go downstairs to Debbie Taylor. Debbie?
Well, Johnny, Nats rookies Wilson Ramos and Danny Espinosa have really been clutch at the plate, and Rick Eckstein weighs in on their maturity.
Their hard work through this point of the season is starting to show that you're starting to see them blossom right in front of our eyes. You know, I would say that the leadership they're getting from Pudge and Espinosa from Alex Cora, you know, I think that's a huge piece to it for learning from the experience of those guys, and you know, there's a good thing happening in that clubhouse.
And Rick said too, they have such a business-like approach. It's business as usual when they're behind. They don't roll over, and he's sure we're going to see a lot more of that this season. FP, Johnny?
Thank you, Debbie, very much. Danny Espinosa facing Eric Bedard for the 3rd time. He has 1 RBI tonight. Couple of hits for Danny. His average up to 243. 13 homers, 45 driven in, 37 scored. You see a look at the Nationals hits tonight. Danny's got 2 of them, and Jerry Hairston Jr. the other one. Nobody else been able to solve Bedard in this ballgame. But it's a 2-1 Washington lead. That's what counts. 4 hits for the Mariners, only 3 for the Nationals. Hard to believe 5 years ago this guy was playing in Long Beach State, FP.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, doesn't act like it.
No,
We'll talk about
sirree.
the average up to 243. A lot of talk about Michael Morse making the All-Star team. What about if this guy's around 280 at the break with those power numbers he has?
When you look at all the rookies in Major League Baseball, the National League, Espinosa and Ramos are listed in almost every category. Swing and a miss. And Bedard has struck out now 8 in the ball game. And back-to-back strikeouts of Morse and Espinosa. So Wilson Ramos up to try to solve him. And gets up and going with his 2-1 lead. Wilson 2 strikeouts tonight. Bouncing ball to short. Ryan's got it. Across the smoke, and it's a 1-2-3 sixth inning for Eric Bedard. We go to the top of the seventh. 2-1 Nationals still on top.
Inning, 2-1 Nationals. John Lannon, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 9 ground ball outs, 89 pitches, very efficient. Eric Bedard has been pretty good for the Seattle Mariners. 10 strikeouts, 87 pitches, and Danny Espinosa, he just keeps on going on. 2 for 3 with an RBI. And let's check out how the Nationals scored. Go back to the first inning. Danny Espinosa digging out a low pitch, flipping that into center. That scored Ryan Zimmerman, 1-0 Nationals. And then back to the fourth. Espinosa got himself into scoring position, read the ball in the dirt. Great job by Jerry Hairston Jr. Put the ball in play with 2 strikes. He gets himself an infield single, RBI, and that's where we're at. 2-1 Nationals.
And we go to the top of the 7th inning at Nationals Park. And for the Mariners, Greg Hallman, John Figgins, and Jack Wilson.
And Eric Bedard thinking very positively in the Mariners dugout. He's up 4th this inning. He's already got his helmet, his batting gloves, and his bat ready.
Mike Karp will pinch hit for Hallman. Karp with a .217 batting average, 5 for 23 you saw this year. And Rodriguez will face Karp. And delivers a fastball for a strike. 98 miles an hour fastball. It was ahead in the count 0-1. And the 0-1. Foul back, and he's ahead in the count 0-2. Burnett and Clippard. Sean on the left, Tyler on the right. And a swing and a miss. And Karp is gone. So Rodriguez with his first strikeout of the night. Got to hit the road sometime. How about taking the Nationals with you this season? You're going to subscribe to MLB.com.tv today to see every Nationals game, either live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Nationals.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball is everywhere. And tonight, another good solid effort for this National Ball Club. Good defense, good pitching, clutch hitting, and they got a 2-1 lead in the 7th. John Figgins tonight, 0 for 2. And committed an error at third base for Seattle. And Aaron Laffey getting loose up there in the Seattle bullpen. Mariners playing a lot of close games, FP. 36 of 73 decided by 2 runs or less.
And that's been their MO this year. Good pitching, good defense, and clutch hitting. So it doesn't surprise me. A lot of close games.
Starting pitching, probably one of the best staffs in the American League. Bouncing ball to short. Desmond one opposite and guns the ball to Orse, and he's out. So Figgins retired. And there are 2 quick outs. Our Pep Boys game flow, tires and parts in a full service, always yours at Pep Boys. They do everything for less. Right now, buy 3, get the 4th tire free. Call 1-800-PEP-BOYS today.
Nice play right there from me and Desmond, knowing the runner, knowing that he doesn't have a whole lot of time, charging the ball, being very aggressive, fielding on the short hop, throwing it on the run, and a perfect strike to Michael Morse on a very speedy runner. Good play in a 1-run ball game.
Another speedy runner stepping in, Jack Wilson. No, it's not Jack Wilson.
Dustin Ackley.
Hitting for Wilson. Ackley, the guy they brought up from AAA Tacoma. And 2 quick outs here in the Seattle 7th inning. 2 balls and no strikes to Ackley.
Went 1 for 4 last night with an RBI. First-round pick of the Mariners. Good-looking young ball player. Like the way he played second base last night. Made some good plays. Good-looking young player.
How about coming up to the major leagues, getting a hit in the first 4 games you play? Gets one tonight. Base hit up the middle off Rodriguez. A 2-out single. And Seattle got their 5th hit. Here's a look at the 2009 draft. The first 10 picks, he was number 2 behind Strasburg. Drew Storer now there at number 10.
Pretty good draft by the Nationals, I'd say.
I'd say so.
And the Mariners swept the A's to end that season. And all of a sudden, the Nationals had the first pick in the draft. Jim Riggleman was the manager of the Seattle Mariners. They swept Oakland. All of a sudden, the Nationals had the worst record in baseball. So guess what? They got the first pick, and they got Steven Strasburg.
And a double switch coming up. Jim Riggleman heading to the mound. And he is calling for Sean Burnett, the left-hander, to come in the ball game. And that's it for Henry Rodriguez. 2-1 Nationals lead. We'll be back in just a moment. Nationals Baseball Unmasked is brought to you by your local Ford dealers, by Mitsubishi Electric Cooling and Heating. To find a Mitsubishi Electric Cooling and Heating dealer near you, visit MitsubishiComfort.com. And by Zookeeper in theaters July 8th. You know, the left-hander, Sean Burnett, comes in. Great shot of the Lincoln Memorial. And Jack Cust will step into pinch hit.
I thought you were going to say the left-hander Abraham Lincoln right there.
I was going to say crafty left-hander. He could bring it from the left side. Yes, sir. He could fire that fastball in there. Jack Cust, 0 for 2. His last appearance against the Angels on Tuesday. Had a season-high hitting streak of 6 a couple of times. Burnett delivers, bouncing ball up the middle. Espinoza got a hurry. No play at second, no play at first, and runners at first and second. Almost like he couldn't get the ball out of his glove after indecision.
Maybe a little in between, flip it to Ian Desmond, and a little bit of that. Johnny couldn't get the ball out of his glove, but for a big guy, Jack Cust runs pretty good. And covered him in Oakland for a number of years. He gets down the line very well. Let's check out the play. Now, he just didn't have the ball in his hand. If you don't have the ball in your hand, you can't throw it. And all of a sudden, you got a crisis situation with Ichiro up. A little high-stress situation for the Nationals and Sean Burnett.
Mariners have their 6th hit of the ball game. Ichiro 1 for 3 night. And Burnett starts him off with a strike. Single in the 6th inning. Runners at second and first. Ackley down at second. And Cust at first with 2 down. Burnett 3-3 on the year, making his 39th appearance. Earner an average of 5.33. And got some work to be done now.
Good pitch.
Great pitch.
And check out the location of this fastball to Ichiro from Sean Burnett. He couldn't run it down there and hand it to Wilson Ramos any better.
Burnett ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strikes him out, and the inning is over. And the Mariners lead that tying run at second base. Sean Burnett comes in and strikes out Ichiro to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th. 2-1 Washington. Nationals Park, bottom of the 7th, is copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Heck of a job for Burnett to come in and strike out Ichiro, who doesn't strike out that much, FP.
305 at-bats this year. That was just a 25th strikeout for Ichiro, and you couldn't pitch him any better than Sean Burnett just did. You talk about Burnett cutting through some big hitters with the Cardinals the other night and his confidence growing. Well, it's going to grow even more after this. A great job, Sean Burnett. Great pitch. A couple of great pitches in that sequence. And that's one you can definitely build on. Nice job.
Nice job is right. Congratulations from Bo Porter, the rest of the guys in the dugout, Pudge and company.
Well, they all know how hard Ichiro is to strike out, so everybody's excited in the Nationals dugout.
Now we've got some changes now. Mike Karp goes to left field in place of Hallman. And Ackley will take over at second base in place of Jack Wilson. And Laffey on the mound tonight. In relief, the left-hander, 2.29. 2.08 earned run average.
Yeah, fastball slider change from Laffey. Fastball go about 87 miles an hour. He likes fastball change to righties, fastball slider to lefties.
FP, I go back to what you said earlier about last night's game and how this could be a real exclamation point on this season for what happened last night. It carried over certainly to the efforts tonight with the ball club scoring a run in the first inning to get up to a 1-0 lead for John.
A lot of baseball game left, but you like the effort once again from the Nationals tonight. They would like to add on a few more runs to their 1-run lead.
Gary Hairston Jr. leads off the 7th inning, takes the calls, Brian Bixler hitting for Hairston. Well, you showed Bixler on deck, and Hairston is up. Bixler will hit next. And Jerry fouls it back. Strikeout in the 2nd, infield RBI single in the 4th inning. Aaron Laffey, a left-hander. And Hairston punches it down the right field line, but it's foul. Laffey had 2 innings pitched in the one over Philadelphia. His last outing has not given up a run in 16 of 22 trips out of the bullpen. Got his first one of the season June 8th at Chicago. And he's got a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes in Jerry Hairston Jr. Well, Bedard pitched his heart out, didn't he? Well, back out of play.
Had a good night, but, you know, the Nationals got the big hit when they had to, and so far, the Mariners didn't. I mean, they had their guy up. They had Ichiro up, contact guy. You're thinking at least he's going to put the ball in play here off Burnett, and you just hope the Nationals get lucky and he hits it right at somebody. But to have Sean Burnett step up like that and strike out a guy that puts the ball in play the majority of the time, that's just a great job.
Hairston swinging a miss, and he's gone. Yeah, there was 1 down to the 7th. Our Corona Game Flow brought to you by Corona, who invites you to find your beach. And that's off to a quick 1-0 lead tonight. Seattle scored 1 in the 4th. Nationals pushed across 1 more in the bottom of the 4th frame, and they lead it 2-1. Ryan Bixler will step in. 167 batting average. He came over from Pittsburgh August 7th of last year. The game-winning run on the 10th of June at San Diego. And a couple of hits in the 2-1 win at San Diego on June 9th. Ball foul back from the screen. No balls, 2 strikes.
I think Bixler was the first Washington National to hit the 9-hole this year. And that was the game that Jim Riggleman pulled the I'm going to hit the pitcher 8th deal.
And it's worked, hasn't it?
Roger Bernardino was in there. He had a tight hamstring in San Diego during batting practice, so Bixler got the last-second start, had a nice night, a couple of hits with a walk. I told him after the game, I said, you are the best 9-hole hitter in the National League today.
Young guy from Sandusky, Ohio. With Perkins High School, Eastern Michigan University graduate, had a tremendous college career. Mid-American Conference Player of the Year, collegiate baseball Louisville Slugger first team. All-American up the middle, base hit for Bixler.
And I asked him one day, I said, have you ever been called Tommy Boy before? And he said, absolutely, FP. I've heard it my whole career. Nice piece of hitting off the bench. That is not easy pinch hitting. You sit there for a couple of hours. You walk up at a Major League Baseball game. You look at Bixler right here, a guy that's out early every day for early batting practice. Head down on the baseball, going the other way. Nice job.
Exmo brought to you by Ram Trucks. Designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. So Bixler down at first. Roger Bernardino looking for his first base hit tonight. Bounding ball to second. Ackley's got it to short. That's his only play. And Bernardino on at first. And Bixler eliminated at second. Did his best to break it up, didn't he?
Absolutely. You get in the ball game, make your presence felt. That's how you break up a double play. Ball not hit hard enough for the Mariners to even think of turning a play with Roger Bernardino running, but nice job, Brian Bixler. That is a good night. 1 for 1, take it back to the dugout. Knucks everywhere. It's a good feeling as a pinch hitter. I mean, you have one at-bat that dictates your night. If you're in the starting lineup, you go up there, you go 0 for 1, you got 3 more, 4 more at-bats, but when you're a pinch hitter, you have one at-bat. If you don't get a hit, you think about it till your next appearance.
I bet you do, yeah. Nationals have 4 base hits. Seattle has 6, but the Nationals have a lead of 2-1. Back to the top of the Washington order. Worth with Desmond on deck. And Roger Bernardino, the speedy Bernardino, at first base with 10 stolen bases. You send him FP?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The worst thing that happens is Jason Worth is leading off the 8th.
Yep, you got your 1, 2, 3 hitters in the 8th inning.
The one thing I would say is you have to get there early in the count to give the batter, Jason Worth, a chance to drive you in. Now with 2 strikes and 2 outs, it's almost too late.
And Lafayette heading the count to Worth. Line drive left field, base hit. And Bernardino goes to second, so the Nationals have runners at first and second with 2 down. And Worth with his first base hit of the ball game.
Yeah, pretty nice night for Jason Worth. And told me before the game he's going back to basics, going back to his #1 stance, the one that he's used his whole career. He lined out deep to right field. His second at bat in the 3rd, had a nice walk in the 5th, and checks in with a single in the 7th. Pretty good night.
And Chris Ray starts to loosen up down in that Seattle bullpen. And a trip to the mound to talk to Aaron Laffey, making his 23rd appearance of the year.
Yeah, running runners in scoring position has been a problem for the Nationals early in the season. Not lately. Look for that set. 6 for 10 with runners in scoring position the last couple of nights.
Last night 4 for 6 in Seattle, only 4 for 14 last night. Well, Carl Willis, the pitching coach from Danville, Virginia, has made his trip to the mound. And Desmond steps in. Runners at first and second. Bernardino at second. Worth at first. And Desmond looking for his first base hit. Fouls it off down to the Mariners dugout. And Lafayette in the count 0-1. These ball clubs wrap up the series tomorrow, 1 o'clock here at Nationals Park. You guys are gone for about a week, I think.
Chicago and Disneyland. Remember back.
Yeah, the 0-1 to Desmond. Mitch is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
A base hit right here would be huge.
And there, a shot right back to Laffey. Wow. Shaking his head like he did not believe he caught that ball.
That ball caught him.
What a way to end the inning. Right back to Laffey. We go to the 8th inning. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Don't miss the Potomac Nationals defend their Carolina League championships at Fitzner Stadium down in Woodbridge. Make the short drive from D.C. Discover the next, perhaps the next Danny Espinosa. The stars of the future are in your backyard with the Potomac Nationals. Tyler Clippard comes on, 33rd appearance. 41 2/3 innings, 1.94 earned run average for Tyler. And opponents batting only 165 against the right-hander from Kentucky. Struck out 53 and he's walked 15.
A fastball, slider, curveball change from Clippard. Some day it's a fastball, some days it's the changeup. We'll see what he's featuring tonight. They'll use the changeup to set up the fastball. It's basically what he has a feel for on that given night.
And he will face Brendan Ryan, Justin Smoke, Miguel Olivo in the top of the 8th inning. Nice crowd on end tonight, 21,000 plus. 21,367 to be exact. And let last night be a lesson to everybody. Don't leave the ballpark early.
I never left the ballpark early as a kid.
I didn't either.
Never.
I was there to watch infield practice and batting practice.
We had to get there early to watch that because they didn't have numbers, so you had to get there early to identify the guys. So when you were sitting there, you knew who was playing.
Don't go over this line now. Don't go past this line.
I think I did. I just jumped back. You're all right.
I'm going to tell him how your son almost took your head off in the batting cage.
That was a good curveball from Clippard.
Yeah, right back to the game, huh? One ball and 1 strike. Can't be too proud of your boy, can you?
No, he's awesome. They're going back to California tomorrow. I'm going to miss them. They've been here this whole homestand. They have been a good luck charm for the Nationals.
He is a player. Wears your dad's number. Swinging a foul back to the screen. So Clippard's ahead in the count to Brendan Ryan. 1 ball and 2 strikes. FP Jr. is going to be what? A junior in high school?
Yes.
Yeah, junior.
Shortstop, second baseman, loves it.
Out there at Oak Ridge?
Oak Ridge High School. But I never understood why you'd leave a game early. I understand maybe if it's a full house, you want to beat some traffic home, but you pay that much money to come to a major league game.
Stick it out.
I used to root for extra innings as a kid when I was at the game. I wanted to see more baseball.
Clippard delivers, high heater, struck him out. Ryan is gone in the 8th.
And time for the Home Depot doing more on defense. Let's go back to the 6th inning. Ichiro on third base, less than 2 outs, 1 out. Ryan Zimmerman doing a great job of stabbing that line drive. All of a sudden, the tying run on third with 1 out is no more. More saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot. That could turn out to be the play of the game.
Yeah, now Justin Smoke steps in. Has a double to show for his efforts tonight. Got on base in the fielder's choice. Lined out to Ian Desmond at short. 1 down to the 8th inning. Tyler Clippard on for his 32nd appearance of the year. High heater, 93 in that gun, and he's ahead. The count is even at 1-1. Wilson Ramos becoming certainly comfortable with this great pitching staff the Nationals have. He and Pudge, and how nice to have Pudge as a mentor to a guy like Ramos, FP. Learning every day from the best.
Absolutely. And it just shows you what kind of guy Pudge is. He's helping that guy out right there, and he's getting less playing time, but he's making him a better catcher. And that's the way the cycle goes at the major league level. You have guys that break you in, and then as you get older, it's your job to break other guys in and show them the ropes like the veterans did when you were a rookie.
And the 1-2 count coming up to Smoke. 1 away in the 8th inning. Smoke with a high pop. Morris calling off everybody, says Al got it, and he lets Espinosa handle it though at the last minute. So there's 2 down. Rather Desmond, 2 down here in the 8th inning.
That had trouble written all over it. And generally speaking, when you have a high pop up in the middle of the infield, it's all about communication. And guess who's the captain? Shortstop. If he calls it, it's his.
It's his. So the Mariners catcher Miguel Olivo up for the 4th time. Reached on a strikeout, the 3rd in the 1st inning. RBI single to right center field a 2nd time. Up and single to center his 3rd time. He's had a good night, and again a pop-up, this time down the third baseline. Zimmerman's got a beat on this one in foul territory, and a quick 1-2-3 eighth inning. Clifford wasting no time. We go to the bottom of the eighth, and the Nationals up by 1. National Park tonight. Great to have you spending your Wednesday night with us. Don't forget to catch the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report. That'll be tomorrow between 5:30 and 7, hosted by our buddy Tom Davis with Dave Johnson and Mel Antonin. That's tomorrow at 5:30, the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report. Talking all kind of baseball. Filled, of course, here at the ballpark with Byron Kerr for Nats Extra pre- and post-game out above the left center field wall. Chris Ray has come on to pitch now for Seattle. His 18th appearance of the year. And there's his numbers. 3-1 record, 5.59. 21 hits, 12 earned runs, walked 6, struck out 14, and 19 in the third innings. Becomes the third Seattle pitcher.
Yeah, fastball, slider, curveball split from Chris Ray. Fastball throw about 67% of the time. He's got a good one. He'll run up there 94, 96.
His last 11 trips out of that Seattle bullpen, he's only given up 2 earned runs. His ERA has come down dramatically. At one time, it was 16.88. Now it's down to 5.59. In this Nationals 8th inning, he'll face Ryan Zimmerman. In the count, 0-1 to Ryan, and then Michael Morse, then Danny Espinosa. Nationals 2 and the Mariners 1. Win tonight, they get the series, and they're even up on the year at 37-37. And take a look and see where the Nationals are now. Third place in the East, just ahead of the Mets, and about 5.5 behind the Braves.
And heading north.
Yep. Going the right way, aren't they?
Yeah, Johnny, I'll tell you what, getting to 500 is a big deal because, you know, you have to get there before you get anywhere else. And Jim Riggleman has talked about it. That's their goal. They made this goal about a month ago. Hey, let's fight to get back to 500, and that's why tonight's game is so big.
High fly. High pop up to second base, and Ackley's got it, and Zimmerman is gone in the 8th inning. Ryan with a walk, a couple of pop-ups, a fly to right, and a pop-up to second, and a strikeout tonight. The left P, especially when you look and see where the ball club was back in May 25th, 21-28, 7 games under 500. And they slowly crept up the standings and can even it up tonight at 37-37. Michael Moore swings to a fastball and misses, and it's 0-1.
They fought and battled and put a little offense together to go with the great pitching and defense they've had all season long, and you see the results.
You know, Steve McCanty's got this staff just absolutely at the top of their game night in, night out, most every night. And even if the guy's not on his game 100%, it seems like he always comes back the next game. Morrison was swing and a miss. He's behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're in the 8th inning, 2-1 Nationals. 2-5-2 for the Nats and 1-6-2 for the Mariners. And Chris Ray on in relief. Aaron Laffey, who came on replacing Eric Bedard. And the 1-2. 95 misses outside. And the count even at 2-2. Morris, a bouncing ball down to second. Ackley's got it on to first to Smoke. And he is retired for the second out. You can text Nationals to 29292 for alerts direct to your mobile phone. Message and data rates may apply. So Danny Espinosa steps in with 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Danny with an RBI single to center, drove in the first run tonight for the Nats. A single to the run scored in the 4th. Then a strikeout in the 6th. Fouls it back, and it's 0-1. Ball is high, and it's 2 balls and a 1 ball and 1 strike. Looking at Rodriguez tonight, FP, and Burnett and Clippard. All 3 guys got the job done from the bullpen. No runs allowed and only 3 hits between them.
Well, that's been the story, and I think that was the story last night. The bullpen kept the Nationals in that game last night. You know, Livan Hernandez, not his best start of the year. All of a sudden, the bullpen comes in. A lot of times it's about, keeping the deficit right where it's at, and that's what they did last night, and a great job tonight of keeping the lead.
And the 1-2 almost got it. And the dance out of the way. Espinosa been hit 12 times this year.
And I'm glad he got out of the way, Johnny. Excuse me. A lot of times Danny Espinosa goes up there and he gets hit in the kneecap or the elbow, and you're wondering if he's going to be able to play the next day. There was an instance where he got hit in the hand this year, and I talked to him. I said, hey, you got to start getting out of the way. You got to start thinking about the long-term big picture here of your career, and don't get hurt by getting hit by a pitch.
Well, Danny strikes out. That's the last of the 8th for the Nationals. On from the bullpen comes Drew Storen. He'll be making his 36th appearance to pitch the 9th when we come back to Nationals Park. Nats up by a run.
Time for our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. And let's go back to last night. I don't think we can see this enough. And Let's show it again. Wilson Ramos, bottom of the ninth, couple runners on, down by 2. Little cement mixer out over the plate, and he gets all of it. Look where this ball lands. A 3-1 walk-off tater for Wilson Ramos. Everybody jumping around. A missed opportunity right there on the Gatorade shower. Michael Morse almost lost it on the dugout steps. And that is your Coors Light cold hard blast. You got to be careful of those celebrations. Don't get hurt.
Can't celebrate enough, though, can you? No, sir. These guys love it. Drew Storen on to pitch the 9th inning for Washington. 35th to 36th appearance. He's won 4 and lost 2. ERA 2.41 and converting 17 of 19 save opportunities. 29 strikeouts, 12 walks. The 10 earned runs and 25 hits and 37 in the 3rd innings of work.
A fastball slider change from Drew Storen. I say change. He's thrown one all year, but I got to throw it in there. It is in his arsenal.
And this bullpen setup tonight, FP, is almost like it was early in the season. Burnett and Clippard and Storen back to back to back.
It's nice.
Yep.
Getting the job done. It's all about keeping the leadoff guy off the bases with a 1-run lead in the 9th.
And that is Franklin Gutierrez for the Mariners, who leads off and takes a strike from Drew Storen to begin this 9th inning. 2-1 Washington. Happy you're joining us tonight and see the Nationals continue their winning ways. And the 0-1. Breaking ball is high, and the count's even at 1-1. Everybody's set to get in that congratulatory high-five line in a couple of moments, hopefully. The win tonight, the Nationals finally hit the 500 mark for the first time since way back in May. Breaking ball, call, strike. 2. And Torn quickly ahead in the count.
And check out the 1-1 slider from Drew Storen. Gutierrez didn't like it, and he had a beat. Looked like it was away.
Nats have won 9 of their last 10, 7 straight over Seattle. And the 1-2 to the Mariners center fielder. Just missed outside. The count is even at 2-2.
Same exact pitch.
Sure.
Check it out. I thought this one was actually a little bit better. Good frame job by Wilson Ramos. See him try to sell it right there. Nice job.
Gutierrez 0 for 3 in the ball game. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and he got him. One away of the 9th inning.
Unbelievable movement on that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Are you kidding me? This is wiffle ball in the backyard.
FP, he just overpowered it.
Just watch the movement on this pitch. This is a fastball. Watch this. I mean, that's got screwball action.
Missed that thing by 2 feet.
That takes sinker to a whole new level. Look at this. That might be the best two-seam fastball I've seen by anybody all year long. Unbelievable.
Storen racks up his first strikeout. Mike Karp will step in now. And it's 1 ball to no strikes to Karp, who came into play left field replacing Hallman.
That was like, John, excuse me, that was like a left-handed slider.
Breaking in.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm still in awe of that pitch from Drew Storen.
He's got it going now. That's 92 in the gun. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mike Karp. Sean Figgins on deck. Mariners down to their final 2 outs. Nationals have a 2-1 lead in the top of the 9th inning. And Byron Kerr and Phil Wood will have Nets extra postgame coming up in just a couple of moments. Drew Storen out of Stanford University. Went back and continued his studies in the offseason. The swing of a high fly ball to left field, drifting back on it as Hairston looks up, and he's got it. And there's 2 outs in the 9th. And Sean Figgins, the last hope for the Mariners. And 21,000 plus now on their feet in the bottom of the ninth. Storen trying to nail down the win for John Lannon. It would be his 5th of the year. And making 3-0 in 6 starts with that amazing earned run average of 1.08. Pitch to Figgins in the inside corner for a strike. Figgins is 0 for 3 in the ball game. The 0-1 to Figgins. Paul strike 2 in the outside corner. FP, it makes it fun to come to the ballpark, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And the 0-2 from Storen. Got him looking for call strike 3. Storen comes in, strikes out 2 of the 3 batters he faces, and the Nationals have won 2-1. Their 8th straight over the Mariners.
Close ball games, it's all about the little things. Gutty performance from John Lannon. Great performance from the bullpen. Great play by Ryan Zimmerman at third, getting Ichiro in the rundown. Aggressive base running from Danny Espinosa. Great job, Jerry Hairston Jr. picking him up with 2 strikes. 1-run win for the Nationals. Outstanding.
Outstanding is right. John Lannon gets the win, his 5th of the year. And there's the final. Nationals 2, Mariners 1.